friends, welcome to this demo lecture on chapter 1, paper 2, thermal utilities, energy efficiency in thermal utilities. So before starting the lecture, let me tell you what this lecture is all about. BEE, you must be knowing about this. BEE, this organization was established as per the Energy Conservation Act 2001, and it is a nodal agency for carrying out all energy conservation related activities in our country. So it also organizes an exam which is called as NCE, National Certification Exam for Energy Auditors and Energy Managers. So if you are preparing for it, then you can prepare with me. You can subscribe to this channel so that you get access to the latest videos that I upload. And apart from this, I would also like to inform you all that I have a Telegram group whose description is also given, whose details are given in the description, so you can join, you can connect with me in that Telegram link also, in that Telegram group also, where I post notification for my latest videos. And I also have a website that is www.i.ia.online.code. So this is the website, and it is active now in the month of February, but after a few months I will be updating this website to some other address, because I want to update this. So till then you can visit this, and you can know more about the different kinds of services that I provide, different kinds of courses that I provide for your paper 1. Paper 2 is on thermal utilities, paper 3 is on electrical utilities, and paper 4. So for energy auditor exam, you need to qualify all the 4 papers, and if you qualify only for the 3 papers, then you get a certificate of energy manager, and this is for energy manager, and this is for energy auditor. So regarding preparation, you need to practice all the previous year's question, and with understanding, and also you need to devote some time. If you devote 6 months, then easily in first attempt only you can crack this exam. But what happens when this notification is released, you get 3 months time. So after filling the form, and most of the students, they are working, so they hardly get 1 month or 2 months to prepare seriously. So it is not that tough, but you need to practice. So at least if the time span is more, for 6 months say prepare, or regularly you practice some questions, then easily you can get through this exam. Regarding today's discussion, we will discuss about paper 2, thermal utilities. So let us start the lecture. So this is book energy efficiency in thermal utilities, and the contents you can see here. And this is the first chapter, fuels and combustion. We will be discussing about this chapter. In this chapter is divided into these many different topics, and these topics can be divided into 2 parts. The first part here you can see, it is about the properties. What are the properties of the fuel? Different types of fuels are there: liquid fuel, solid fuel, liquid fuel, gaseous fuel. So these are mainly 3 different kinds of fuel available, and we should know the properties so that we can select the right amount or right fuel for our furnace, or for better efficiency. Then we will discuss about combustion, calorific value and other things we will see. Combustion of oil, coal, combustion of gas, combustion of biomass, then type of draft system we will see, and type of combustion control. So these are the topics and these are the two parts. This is your part 1, this is your part 1, and this part is part from here to here. This is your part 2. Introduction to fuels. So as I told you, solid, liquid and gas are different fuels for the combustion equipment. What is the combustion equipment here? The boiler or furnace, and solid fuel means coal and lignite, that is mostly used in our country or around the world. Solid fuel means coal and lignite. Liquid means your diesel, HSD, LDO, furnace oil, LSHS. So what is LSHS? Low sulfur heavy stock. And gaseous means natural gas and biogas. Then we have agro waste, and these are non-renewable. First three are non-renewable, these are non-renewable, and this is renewable. The selection of right type of fuel depends on many factors, and right type of fuel we should select in order to have the better efficiency, and so that the landed cost is minimum. So we have to see availability, we have to see the storage, we have to see the handling, and in handling whether any safety issue is there or not, we should ensure. And then pollution also, we should not pollute, we should store in such a way that there is no pollution. The landed cost of the fuel should be minimum, that is necessary for selecting the right type of fuel for right application and also for the efficient use of fuel. Next, these are the different properties of liquid fuel. These are different properties. We have got density in kg per meter cube. So density, we know the formula that density is equal to mass by volume. So mass is expressed in your kg, so it is kg, and volume in meter cube, that is kg per meter. Specific gravity, there is no unit. So with respect to water, we find out, and numerator and denominator, the units cancel out, so there is no unit. Viscosity is the resistance to flow. If we increase the temperature, obviously the viscosity will reduce and it will be more flowable. But if temperature is decreased, then the viscosity, or if the temperature is decreased, then the viscosity increases. Flash point is the minimum temperature at which the liquid catches fire and it flashes, and pour point is whether the liquid is pumpable or not. Specific heat is kilocalories per kg degree Celsius. Calorific value is kilocalories per kg. And then we have sulfur content. This sulfur content is important as it leads to formation of sulfur dioxide, which can lead to corrosion in different parts of furnace, and ash content leads to fouling. Deposits of calcium, magnesium, silicon and nickel, all these leads to fouling. Carbon residue, all oil to deposit, it also deposits if it doesn't burn. And water content, so if water content increases, the weight of the fuel increases, and also it will carry more heat, as if it will carry more of the latent heat. So because if suppose in any fuel water content is there, then when it is heated, so water, what will happen, it will first convert to liquid. Liquid will first convert to gas, so there will be phase change, and after that it will take the heat and it will take the latent heat with it, and it will be evaporated. So it is a kind of loss. So this will be a kind of loss. So that's why we should know the properties to make the fuel more efficient for our system. And here also you can see the density of furnace oil, LSHS, LDO, they are given for comparison. Flash point, pour point, GCV, 10,500. In most of the calculations we will be using 10,000 kcal per kg. So in exam also, in BE exam also, whenever they are giving different value of GCV, mostly it is 10,000 kilocalories per kg. Then these are some of the other properties which are given: the water content, the ash content, the sulfur content, and hydrometer, viscosity meter. These are some of the instruments for measuring the specific gravity and viscosity. So these are some of the typical specification of fuel oil. Next, this is the calorific value. So what is the calorific value? Calorific value is the measurement of heat. It's the measurement of heat or the energy produced, and is measured either as a gross calorific value or net calorific value. So it is measured either as gross calorific value, that is GCV, or the net calorific value, that is NCV. So what is the difference between GCV and NCV? We will see with this example. Suppose we take some fuel. So what does it contain? It contains carbon, it contains hydrogen, it contains carbon, it contains hydrogen, sulfur, moisture. So when carbon is burnt, it converts into CO2. When hydrogen is burnt, it also converts into water vapor, and when moisture is burnt, it also first converts into water vapor. Then after that the phase changes from liquid to gas, and it takes the latent heat, and this finally goes to the chimney, and then it is lost. So this is GCV, is the gross calorific value, and NCV is the net calorific value. So GCV is a gross calorific value of oil, and it is 10,500, but NCV we see it is less. Why it is less? Because the heat is taken away by the water vapor. So when the phase changes, it gets heated, it takes the latent heat and is taken away through the chimney, so that is a loss. So relation between GCV and NCV is GCV is equal to NCV plus 584, 9 times of hydrogen percentage and the moisture percentage divided by 100. So GCV is in kilocalories per kg, NCV is in kilocalories per kg, and hydrogen content, moisture content, and 584 is the latent heat at partial pressure of water vapor, kilocalories per kg. Next is storage and handling. How it talks about how we should keep the fuel, and whenever it is flowing, these are the filters, and these filters should be changed. Detailed discussion I have done in the regular classes. Here I will only give you a hint or idea of what. Here I will only give you an idea of how the fuel should be stored. So it should be stored so as to meet the at least 10 days consumption, because every time we cannot make a purchase, we cannot buy the oil all the time. So for 10 days at least we will store the fuel. So and also we should clean the dirt and other particles so that it doesn't affect the efficiency when it is burnt in power plant. So and when this fuel is flowing, these are filters which collects dust, and after some time this should be replaced. Then we have got pumping system, how the fuels are pumped. So in cold condition it may be tough to pump, so heating is required. Sometimes heavy oils need to be heated, and there are bulk heating, and also outflow heaters are also available, and different types of pump are circulation, positive displacement pump, circular gear pump, diaphragm pump. Centrifugal pump is not recommended for fuel because safety issues may be there, and also light fuels are best pumped with centrifugal or turbine pump. Light fuel like kerosene, and centrifugal is not preferred for heavy fuels, and preheating and temperature control. Once a pump is selected, you need to preheat the oil. You cannot pump the oil below 25 degrees Celsius. So you have to heat it. Generally we are heating it up to 40 to 45 degrees Celsius. We do not heat it to very high temperature of say 100 degrees Celsius, because if we are heating it because if we are heating it, then insulation loss will be there. So then we have got bulk heating and outflow heater, or online heater. So sometimes the heating can also be done after some time, after pumping through pump. If you pump it and throw any boiler, you can pass the steam and heat it later. This is called outflow heater or online heater. And then thermostatic temperature control is to prevent the overheating. This is for the safety issue. Then we have got properties of coal. We have anthracite, the oldest and hard coal, high carbon with little volatile content and practically no moisture. Then we have got lignite, which is the youngest and soft coal, mostly available in Cuddalore and in places of Gujarat. Then we have got bituminous coal, commonly used in India. GCB, if we compare, then GCB of coal is 4,500, Indian coal 4,000, that is the range. But the coal which is imported from other countries, they are in the range of 5,000 to 6,000. It is mostly used in steel industries and power plants also sometimes. Then we have got two types of analysis: proximate analysis and ultimate analysis. We will see later on. So I have also discussed this in detail in the regular lecture. If you want that, you can go to the description and join the Telegram link. And if you like whatever I have told you, then you can like it. Also, if there is some noise you are getting, then kindly excuse me, because it is just a demo lecture. So I am also just recording it only for my hobby or interest. So kindly neglect that and just take advantage of the free resource that you are getting. So moisture content is the heat loss, and ash content is the impurity that will not burn, and it causes clinkering and slagging. Volatile matter, the gases, the hydrocarbon, fixed carbon, we have to estimate the GCV. We can estimate the GCV. Sulfur content, again this corrodes the chimney, as I have already told that it will lead to formation of sulfur dioxide, SO2, and this can lead to corrosion. So ultimate analysis, this is the ultimate analysis, and here relation between ultimate analysis, proximate analysis is given. It is useful to determine the quantity of air required for combustion, flame temperature, flue duct design, and here the carbon content. If carbon content is more, the GCB will be more. So in the coal which is imported, the carbon content is more, and hence the GCB is more. More I have discussed in detail in the regular classes. So this is about handling. So what is carpet loss and why we need to regularly sprinkle, why when storing the coal, why we cannot store it to like a big hill, or due to heat, actually due to pressure, the heat will be produced and this may lead to fire. So we need to sprinkle water here. Then sizing, coal sizing, different kinds of boiler I have discussed: hand fired, stoker, pulverized, fluidized bed. And why what is the advantage of water? Water helps to avoid the losses, the different particles. They stick to the water and do not get carried away. They are stopping fines being carried away by the furnace, thus preventing a loss. Weighting of coal can decrease a percentage of unburnt carbon and excess air level required for combustion. Blending of coal, so we make it to a uniform coal for feeding to the boiler. Then properties of gaseous fuel: LPG is denser and natural gas is lighter. That is what is being discussed here. Then these are different types of agro residues. So then we will discuss about bulk density. So that was all for this demo lecture. More we will discuss in the regular classes. If you want to catch them live or if you want those lectures, then you can join the Telegram group given in this description box. And I would also request you to like my videos and subscribe to this channel, so that you get the latest notification whenever I upload some video. So thank you, that's all.